Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, the UK's only TV programme dedicated to mental health and well-being topics. Today we'll be showing you the devastating effects of what one mindless act can do. On Saturday the 14th of April 2012, three boys took 19-year-old Connor Saunders' life in an unprovoked attack. One of them was 13 years old and two of them 14 years old. The battle for justice continues. It's a story that needs to be told, and that's why our special guest and Connor's uncle Jamie Denyer is going to be telling us about the tragic event and what he's doing about it almost 4 years on. And we also have with us Connor's mum Darren Saunders, who will talk about her own experience. So if you'd like to get involved, you can tweet us at Chrissy B Show, or you can leave a comment on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. So let's head over to Jamie Denyer. Welcome to the show, Jamie. Now, I have to tell the viewers, you have been on before.
I have indeed, yeah.
But, you know, we did need a whole show to cover this because I did go to one of your talks not so long ago and it was absolutely fantastic, and I just knew that I wanted to do a whole show to cover some of the things that I didn't hear about the time before.
Okay, yeah. No,
so welcome back.
It's a real privilege to be here. Thank you for having us back on.
No problem. So first of all, I'd like for the viewers to get to know Connor. Can you describe him to us and let us know what he was like?
Yeah, very much so. There's a word in which I use for Connor on a regular basis, and it's unique. He was a very, very unique young man. I mean, he was the third child of my sister and brother-in-law. He completed the family. He's got an older brother, Callum, who's the middle child. He's got an older sister, Courtney. Yeah, Connor, like I say, very, very unique, amazing qualities as a human being. Just in his personality and his character, right from a very, very young age. This young man just kept on as he grew up, and as you're going to find out throughout this programme. Yeah, he not only thought outside the box, but he kind of acted outside the box as well, and he'd done stuff that not a lot of people would do. But yeah, a very, very unique individual.
What was he like as a child?
9 pounds 6 ounces born, so he was never really a baby. I mean, even when he was born, 9 pounds 6 ounces. He was born at 4 minutes past 3 in the morning. Completed my sister and my brother-in-law's family. You know, walking at 9 months old. You know, as my sister would tell you, with a ball at his feet. You know, it was as if he had stuff to do. He was very much an old head on young shoulders. He needed to be up and about. He didn't have time for all this. He didn't have time to kind of hang about. He needed to do stuff. So yeah, just a beautiful young man, and yeah, he just completed the family.
Tell us about his relationship with the family, because I remember in your talk the way he was portrayed, wrongly portrayed by the people that caused everything, was quite very negative, and they described him as aggressive. I remember something, we sort of speaking about those things in your talk, and the way you described him obviously was completely different. And you talked about the relationship, how he was with his family members, and you could see just from that he wasn't anything like, you know, aggressive or anything negative about his personality. So can you tell us about what he was like with his family?
Yeah, I mean, of course, a family member can be considered biased with what they say about their family member, but when you go on evidence of what is shown, it's, you know, his older sister, in 19 years and 20 days, he never, ever had a cross word with her. Never had a cross word with her. He sent her a text message when he was 18 years old. He sent her a text message in August, September, back in 2011, just saying, "Hi sis, I just want you to know that I love you." And she said, "Thank you, baby, bro. Such a lovely text message to get. I'm so proud of the young man in which you've grown up to be. I am a very proud big sister." That speaks for itself. His character, like what he used to do that other people didn't. When he used to go around to friends' houses, how he used to speak to other people's mums and their family members, i.e. like when he used to go in and he used to go to other people's houses, when he used to leave, he used to say, "Bye, I love you," to his friends' mums. "I love you, goodbye, blah, blah, blah." And, you know, and they used to say, my own son don't tell me that. But Conor wasn't afraid to show his feelings. He wasn't afraid to show his kindness. Wasn't afraid to show his compassion and his love. And again, it just kind of falls into the box of unique. His character was above and beyond a lot of people. His brother, they wasn't brothers. They were kind of best mates. They were soulmates. You know, really bounced off of each other. Of course, they had their squabbles because they were two boys. You know, they used to have the banter and stuff like that. But again, just kind of how he was with his siblings, where so many other people could be, you know, most of the time rowing and kind of taking banter wrong. Never was. He was very, very unique, and like I say, just the relationship in which he had with his siblings and with his parents, with his entire family. He was very, very family orientated, very family orientated. His nan was like his best friend. He was like her shadow, and it's hit Nan so hard, as you know it would do. But he come from a very, very loving family, very, very compassionate, loving family, and his character just continued to grow and excel. And that's my favourite part of my talks. That's my favourite part of my workshop, when I say to people, now you're going to learn about Conor. And there's so many things that I bring out. And to be honest, we could do a whole show on Conor's character, and we just haven't got that time.
Okay. Now we've got a few photos here. Can you talk us through these pictures?
Yeah, absolutely.
James, let's take a look at the first one.
Again, this is Conor's older brother, Callum, and as I've just said, Conor's on the left, Callum's on the right. Yeah, they wasn't just brothers; they were best mates. They were, you know, Conor used to worship Callum. Callum was Conor's idol, and he used to follow him about because Callum was a very, very good footballer, still is. And like I say, Conor at 9 months old, he was walking with a ball at his foot, so he had Callum's influence on him right from the off. And it was a case of he looked up to Callum like you wouldn't believe. So he was just in awe of his big brother.
And let's see the next one.
His big sister, Courtney.
Gorgeous sister.
Yeah, very, very much so. You know, runs in the family. But yeah, again, never had a cross word in 19 years and 20 days. There's not a lot of people that can say that. And the text message in which he sent to his sister and the reply in which he got back, I say to people, when was the last time you sent a text message like that? When was the last time you received a text message like that? Not many 18-year-old boys would just do it off of the cuff. He did.
No, it's very unusual.
And it's like Courtney made Conor an uncle with his nephew Stanley, and he took to that role like a duck to water. He loved little Stan. And it's a case of, it's just a shame that he can't show that same love to baby Ted as well, you know, Courtney's second boy.
Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Now, you've got a particular, you're very fond of this picture, aren't you? Can you tell us why?
Absolutely. The eyes are the window to the soul. And you just look at him there and you know the kindness, you know just his character, it's just so soft and so beautiful there. And I'm not being stereotypical, Chrissy, but you can look at people, you can look at a picture and just know they're a wrong-un. And that's the only way I can put it. You know that they're a wrong-un. You look at that and you just know that it's just nothing but kindness, nothing but beauty, nothing but giving and compassion, and just a beautiful soul. Yeah, his eyes are the window to his soul there.
Let's take a look at the next one. That's another one of your favourites.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Was it family party?
Oh, yeah, it was...
Christmas? Was it Christmas?
No. I mean, I know I'm kind of wearing Christmas colours and
I was looking at sort of stuff up the top.
No, it was just... because football's a massive part with our family, and Conor's dad, you know, as a football manager, it's a case of, this was just a football do. It was, you know, we was out that evening, but it isn't just the memories of that night. It isn't just what happened and just what a fantastic night that it was. I also know the feeling, because I can still feel him now because of how tightly I held him, and you can see I'm gripping him. I'm gripping him, and I've got him, and it's like a case of, I can feel him in this picture, and I'm striving and I'm working to doing that again, someday, and there'll be a big difference. I just won't let him go. But everyone possesses a photo where that when you look at it, you wish you can go back to again and again and again. That's mine.
That's the one. Okay.
That's mine.
We've got one more to show everyone. It's a nice, beautiful family photo.
Yeah, this is mum, dad, older brother, sister. You know, this is Sean, Daz, Callum, Courtney, and Connor.
How old is Connor here?
Connor was that was in the January. That was my uncle's 60th. So yeah, he was still 18 at this point. Still 18. So
very handsome young man.
Because his birthday was in March, so he was still 18, coming up 19. But this emphasises everything that Connor was about: family. It's the most important thing, family. There's so much emphasis put on other things, materialistic gain, get, want, desire. But family is the most important thing, because when you're stripped back to the bare bones, these are the people that you need to support to get them through their day, but also they support you. You're a support network for each other. When the bomb drops, these are the people that will always be there. But they're also the people that give you the most beautiful memories, that help you more than you will ever know, and just be grateful for them. Never ever take them for granted, because there will be a time when they're not there, and it's not until you you know that there's an empty place there that you really know what is truly important. And
this is yet another thing that I'd like to get across on this program. There's lots of things that we're going to talk about on today's show, but it is also about, you know, the family bonds and how important that is, and how you should appreciate your family and not let silly little things get in the way of a good relationship. You know, be there for them, help them, love them, because it's true, you just don't know. You don't know how long you have with each person.
Absolutely. And you must learn to number your days. Not, of course, have goals and ambitions and look into the future and build stuff for the future. But Connor was killed on April the 14th. He wasn't guaranteed April the 15th. And it's a case of we need to number our days. And so many things get in the way of us spending quality time with our family, i.e. gadgets, TV, blah blah. You know, it's just, you know, it's literally a case of get your nose out of the phone, get your nose out of the iPad, sit opposite your family, speak to them, talk to them, ask them how they are, the simple things, because again, and I'll use this phrase, when the bomb drops, the simple things are the most important things, and it's the things that you will miss most when they're not there.
So Jamie, I think we've got quite a good idea of what Connor was like, even though, like you said, we could just do a whole show just talking about him. But after the break, we're going to get into the serious stuff, the traumatic stuff, because we want to talk about it on this program, because the aim of today's program especially is to prevent these things from happening, making people think before they do silly things that could, you know, destroy a whole family. So we're going to be talking about how Connor died, the lead up to those events and what happened afterwards. So join us after this. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to today's program, and we've called this program One Punch and You're Dead, because this is exactly what happened to Connor Saunders. And we have his uncle Jamie here with us, who he's doing a great job going into schools and prisons and talking about One Punch murder. And today he's telling us specifically about Connor's life, and before the break spoke about what Connor was like, and sounds like a fantastic young man. And now we're going to actually talk about the incident that took place a few years ago. Can you tell us about that, Jamie?
Yeah, it was a night out that Connor and his friends. This isn't kind of some gang warfare where it's in a really rough place. No, it's in a very, very sleepy village where my family lives, in a village called Rottingdean. You know, not much happens, to be honest, but it just emphasises that anything can happen to anyone, any place, at any time. And plainly and simply, Conor's life was taken by a single punch. And people say, how can this be? How can a punch take your life? Because society deems punch throwing as normal. It's a normal activity. It's just in our society, it's in our culture, and people feel the need to throw a punch if they've been upset, or if someone has angered them in some way, just for minor things. We feel we need to cause that person pain to pay them back. But it is the difference between your family coming to visit you in a jail cell when you've got a murder or manslaughter charge hanging over your head, or your family coming to visit you in an intensive care unit to say their final goodbyes. Because 99% of the time, when a punch is thrown, and this is why it's called the coward's punch, because people's lives are being taken because a punch is administered from either behind or from the side. Okay. Conor's life was taken from a punch that was administered from the side when he was in a verbal altercation trying to calm down two boys, and I'm really glad that you mentioned that there was 3 of them involved, because everyone played their part. Conor was in a verbal altercation with 2 boys trying to calm them down, where another boy come up beside him from the side through what was called a haymaker of a punch, which is like a big swing of a punch. This is what was stated in a court of law, that he threw a haymaker of a punch that come from nowhere, hit Conor, and he fell like a domino. That is how it was explained, meaning that he just fell. Couldn't break his own fall, couldn't see it coming, couldn't defend himself because he couldn't see it coming. And once you go over, your head is the last thing to make contact with the floor, and you die of blunt force trauma, brain damage, and that's what happened to Conor.
Wow! So he was just out.
Yeah. It was basically because he was big into football. It was pre-season. Yeah. There's a photo of Conor in his football kit.
I think we have that. Can we show that up on screen?
This is very, very iconic because this was taken 7 hours before Conor was killed. This is the last picture we have of Conor, and the only reason that we have this picture is because it was pre-season. The club photographer was there taking pictures of the team for the upcoming season, for the squad pictures, and it was literally a case of he'd played a pre-season friendly. They'd won 5-1, so they was in high spirits. I mean, Conor wasn't aggressive or angry or unhappy person anyway, but you win 5-1, and he was out with his friends, and that's
just another really powerful point, isn't it? Because he would have been in a good mood that day.
Yep.
You know, no reason whatsoever. First of all, it's out of his character to be moody or aggressive, and then another thing that he just won, so he would have been in high spirits and not fighting or anything like that.
Conor wasn't disciplined by smacking. Conor never raised his fist in anger to any human being in 19 years and 20 days. No one raised their fist to Conor in anger. Never ever need to. It wasn't about that. And the first time it happened, it took his life. And the fact is that once you study, boxing, and there's when you're ready for a punch, you can get ready for it, and your body kind of absorbs it, and you can take the impact. But the people who are losing their life for a single punch are the ones that are administered from the side or behind, or even face on, but they throw it without any warning. This was no different. This was thrown from the side. It was a coward's punch, and it took Conor's life.
Wow. Now, when you heard about what happened, can you tell us about that stage?
Yeah, I mean, it was 1:30 in the morning. I got a phone call off of my sister. She said, you need to get in your car and you need to come down to Brighton now. She said, Conor's been attacked and he's in the hospital. I thought to myself, well, he's busted up pretty bad, but because he's in hospital, but he's in the best place. I didn't know that I was going down there to say my final goodbyes to my nephew. You know, and going into a hospital is one thing, but going into an intensive care unit is something completely different. That's when the ball game changes. See, my sister at that particular time had been given the news that it was 99% that Conor wouldn't make it. So she needed to make the phone call serious enough for me to come down. But I had a 4-hour drive in front of me, and she didn't want her baby brother driving like a lunatic, but make it serious enough for me to come down at 1:30 in the morning, but still holding something back. And it's and in that moment, the strength that my sister had to show was quite phenomenal, because she had been given that news. There was still hope, the 1% of hope, because there was still brain activity tests to be conducted, and we still had that hope. But looking back now, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and we knew that at that particular time that Connor was indeed forever asleep.
When you arrived at the hospital, what did you find? What were your first?
The only way that I can describe it is walking into hell. That you, like I say, going into a hospital is one thing, but an intensive care unit is something completely different. You know, you've got machines going, you've got someone in front of you that you dearly love, someone who is young in their years, that they're on a life support machine, and you see their chest going up and down, and you know that it's not them, it's a machine doing it for them. And you see the family, the loving family surrounding them, who are broken, absolutely shattered, and you know from that moment on, life will never ever be the same again. And at that time, you know that there is one thing that changes, and that is everything. Everything. Everything you felt was important. Every dream and ambition you ever had, every characteristic that you thought you were, changes. Everything that you celebrate goes. In that moment, that one moment. And it's something that, yeah, you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy, but it's something that was brought to our door, and we are dealing with it in the dignified and positive and loving and compassionate manner that Connor would want us to do, and that's and that's the important thing. But yeah, I knew then that I along with my family had indeed entered hell.
And this is something that people that inflict this kind of violence, they don't think ahead. They don't imagine what could happen if anything went wrong, you know, whether they were intending to kill someone or not. They don't think of the future. It's just whatever's they're feeling right there and then, you know, acting out of impulse, out of anger, and they just do whatever they feel like and then then leave someone else to pick up the pieces. But if they could actually see into the future and what things would be like for them and for the family and for their family.
And as I've just said, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but the fact of the matter is, Chrissy, that I've had my clubbing days. I've had my kind of Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night a time of my life. And do you know what? No matter what has happened, if someone's knocked into me or insulted me verbally or threatened, I have never, no matter how much drink I've drunk, I have never, ever, ever felt the need to inflict physical punishment on someone else. But this is the kind of mission in which we're on, and this is the kind of resistance in which we're facing, and the hurdle and that we've got to get over is society deems this to be normal. It's just a normal part of culture. Even when my sister was talking to a victim support counsellor, she said, this is just what young boys do. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not any normal young boy. No, it's not. And I don't know what kind of role models they might have around them, that dads might be telling them it's the right thing to do, and their uncles or their older brothers, and it looks big and it looks good. But it's up to them to break the cycle. It doesn't mean that you have to follow that pattern.
If we see it as normal, then no one's going to do anything about it.
Of course, you know, and it's like, you know, you're seeing this at 2:30 in the morning, where people are getting thrown out of nightclubs and bars and just inflicting physical punishment on them because they might have even looked at them wrong. People are losing their life because of a look. People are losing their life because they want to get a reaction out of people. You know, there is so much emphasis put on knife and gun crime, and rightly so, but this is what we are, to coin a phrase, fighting against, to get to the forefront that punching is wrong. Punching, because I've never felt a need to do it. I mean, I was a semi-professional kickboxer for a little while, and that's the only time that I've used physical violence is in the controlled environment of a kickboxing ring. Never felt the need to take it outside, even though my dad wasn't in my life, even though I grew up on a council estate, even though I was witness to drug deals and drug deals gone wrong and people losing their life through stabbings, and because I was a regular witness to violence. It doesn't mean, you know, even though your kind of pain is understandable, it doesn't make your actions acceptable. And this is a decision at the end of the day. You decide, it doesn't matter what you've been through or what's happened in your life or what you've witnessed, like you're saying. You decide whether you're going to follow that or
be someone else.
We are free to make choices, but we're not free from the consequences of those choices. And it's up to anyone watching, anyone that's interested, or you have to break a cycle that you might be in, of an environment, of a situation, of the community that you're in, the role models in which you're kind of exposed to. You have to break that cycle. And it's reasons and excuses. And reason is plausible and understandable, but an excuse is a coward's way of trying to get out of verbally what they've acted themselves into. Exactly. And this is what came to our door as well, excuses. People giving excuses as to why it is they did what they done, in a court of law, and trying to character assassinate Conor. And that just won't do, doesn't wash with me. It's all about choices.
Definitely. So Jamie, you're going to stay with us till after the break, because we're also going to be joined by your lovely sister and Conor's mum, Daz. So don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to today's programme, and we've been speaking all about one-punch murder and the effect that it has on families. So now I'm joined by Conor's mum, which is Daz. Hello, Daz. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Now, I know this is a difficult thing to talk about, and I think you're very, very brave to come on TV and speak about this, but I know you're doing it for a greater good, because you don't want other families to go through what your family has. So can you tell us a bit about your relationship with Conor, what that was like?
Yeah, Conor, my husband always said that I spoilt him. But I just did whatever he needed to do. He had a way of, he could wrap me around his little finger, but he did that with all of us because he was the baby of the family. Yeah. But he was just so caring and so gentle that you couldn't say no to Conor. In the 19 years and 20 days of his life, my husband and I never told him off. Never had to. And as Jamie said, there was never a cross word with his sister or his brother. They both supported different teams. Conor was a massive Chelsea fan, and Callum is a massive West Ham fan. So they have football banter. But we all lived at home together. Conor was still at home, and he had upstairs with his brother. Their rooms were next to one another. And I can just say that from the moment Conor was born, he was the glue that held us together. He completed us as a family. He was just pure joy.
So how did you cope then when you got that news?
It's really strange because I still don't know how we cope. I know that we honour the love more than the loss. So you think about Conor all the time and you ask yourself, what would Conor want from you? Yeah. And that gets us up. But on the night that it happened, and I would say the first year that it happened, I don't really remember anything. And I think my family will say the same. There was no birthdays, there was no Christmas. We had a grandchild, Stanley, and he was 18 months when this happened, and Conor doted on him. He didn't talk for 18 months after, and that was down to trauma. And we understood that because the house was completely quiet afterwards. We didn't open the curtains. The condolence cards, we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And they stood for months and months. Football shirts outside our home.
They're tied to the railings, weren't they? People just paying their respects. Strangers.
Flowers.
People that never ever knew Conor. still felt the need to do it.
Yeah, it's still very much a blur, and I still say 2012 because if I think and say it's going to be 4 years on the 14th of this month, I think 4 years. I still don't know how we're all still standing, but I'm so proud that we are still standing.
That's amazing. I just wanted to ask you a question as well, because obviously there are people watching right now, and maybe there are some youngsters and even older people, because it's not just the youngsters that are committing these crimes, you know, people of all ages, male and female. If there are anyone watching now that has a tendency to be quite violent and just to throw punches and you know, think it's okay to do that, what would you say to them?
I would say don't do it. I would say that everyone has the choice to make the right choice. It doesn't take just one life, violence. It's senseless. The family are the ones that have the life sentence. Conor's been denied so much. He was so full of life. And his life was taken by a punch. I still can't believe that happens. When we got that call that night and Callum actually rang us to say, Mum, Conor's been punched. And I really thought we were going to get to hospital and he was going to have a black eye or a broken nose. I didn't know that one punch could take a life. Yeah, you have to think of your actions, because it doesn't take just one life. It truly doesn't.
No.
And that's our mission, you know, the actual education of what one punch can do, because people, like we said, think that it's normal, but it can and is a deadly weapon, and it is a life-taking action.
Now, there's something quite remarkable in all of this, because Conor is actually saving lives, has saved some lives, and is continuing to save lives. Can you tell us how that's happening?
Yeah, on the night Conor lost his life, they informed us that Conor was an organ donor, and Conor had signed.
And you hadn't known that before?
No, not at all. And that was Conor all over. He had signed the organ donor register at 16.
Wow.
That selfless act at 16 still amazes me.
What 16-year-olds do you know that do that?
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And he had ticked every box. And when we were told, my husband said, no, you're not to touch him. And then as a family, we sat and discussed it, and we said, Conor was a bright young man. He did that for a reason. He knew exactly what he was doing. So we honoured his wishes. And initially he saved 5 lives, and we say 5 is alive all the time. And then 6 months after his passing, he saved the life of a 10-month-old baby with his heart valve. And then in January of this year, he saved the life of a 5-year-old boy.
That's amazing.
It truly is. We are all advocates for organ donation. We believe in it 100%. We've had 4 letters from the recipients. They have all been given this chance of life thanks to Conor, that they honour his life through their life. 96% of the nation agree with organ donation, yet only 31% have signed the register. And 1 in 3 die every day waiting for an organ. And Conor, he believed in it. He wanted his love to live on, and it has. And that gives us comfort.
What does that mean to you as a family, knowing that he's still living through other people in a sense, and he's still saving lives? And
well, what sums it up for me is one case. It's kind of naming no names, but this guy said, "I'm writing this letter on my wedding day. Conor's life has allowed me to marry my college sweetheart." He said, "I was days away from death." He said, "My father actually donated 60% of his own liver to try and save my life, because you can survive off of 40%. But unfortunately his body rejected it, and he said that I was days away from death. He said, and then I got the phone call that changed my life, and that was the phone call for Connor's gift. And you then think about that phone call changed his life, but you have to think about the phone call that was answered by the parents 24 hours or 48 hours before that changed their life as well. But he said, I wasn't told anything about Connor. I was only told his name, and I was about to be given the Rolls Royce of livers. Wow. He said the nurses and the doctors had never ever seen it before, that once the liver went in, I had 100% function again within an hour. Of course, I still had to battle infections, because it was a major operation. But Connor has allowed me to see my 2-year-old daughter's birthday, has allowed me to travel with my band, because music is a big part of my life. And again, it just carries on cementing Connor's character, that he would do that first and foremost at 16. And these people are saying thank you to Connor, even though he's kind of sleeping at the moment, that they're still saying thank you to Connor. Connor has still has allowed me to do this, and they will go on and do beautiful things in their lives. So it's the ripple effect of what Connor does.
That's beautiful. Now, you've got something that you would like to read. That's something that you haven't read before. Anyone?
I don't. And this was written by Connor in his handwriting. That wasn't the best. He didn't have time to write letters, but he was going skiing. Connor didn't stay out much when he was younger. He always had friends to our home, and our home was always filled with children. But he was 15 at the time he wrote this, and he was going skiing with the school, and it was the first time he'd been skiing, and his first trip with his secondary school. So he was 15 at the time he wrote this, and I remember taking him to his school about 4 o'clock in the morning, and he said to me, "Mum, I've left something on your pillow for you and Dad." So I'm like, "Okay, you go off and have a lovely time, and we'll see you when you get back." And this is what he wrote. And it says, "I love you forever. You have shown me how to give of myself. You have shown me leadership skills. You have taught me to be strong. You have taught me the importance of family. You have demonstrated unconditional love. You have demonstrated a sensitivity to people's needs. You have handed down to me the important values in life. You have handed down to me the ideal of achieving one's goals. You have set an example throughout your life of what a mother and a father should be like. And I am so proud of you both, and I will love you forever. To my mum and dad, I can't tell you how much I love you both, and thank you for everything. I love you truly and forever, and I will see you when I get back, and I will miss you. You have always been there for me, and you have always believed in me, and for that, I love you both so much."
That's beautiful.
And
That's
again,
amazing.
like not normal 15-year-olds would do that.
This is a thing.
And when it states there that you have taught me how to give of myself, he took it to the next level. He has literally given of himself and saving life. Connor was a life lover, a life liver. He's also a life giver and life saver. Those are the labels in which are stuck to Connor Saunders forever.
We're going to go to a quick break, guys. Then after the break, you are going to tell us about the amazing work that you're doing in schools and prisons and lots of other things that you're doing to help other people, and it is having a massive impact on society, I would say. So, guys, join us after this.
Hi, I'm
Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to today's programme, and we've been speaking about the devastating effects of one-punch murder, and I've been speaking to Jamie and to Daz here, who lost their family member Connor to this kind of violence almost 4 years ago now, wasn't it, guys? So if you have missed the beginning of this programme and you'd like to catch up, you can head over to our YouTube channel in a few days' time and everything will be there for you. And I really do recommend that you watch this show from the very start, because it will have a massive impact in your life. So back to these two amazing people on the sofa here. You didn't just sort of keep this in the family and deal with it just within your own family. You've actually decided to go out there and make a difference in society as a whole. Can you tell us about that?
Very much so. I would say that our paths have kind of veered off in certain aspects, because I've got my educational workshop, One Punch Can Kill workshop, which has just been voted the best in the world in its category. It's very, very impacting, very, very educational. It is world-class education for the topics in which I cover, but the content in which I've got in it. And I've gone kind of more down, let's say, a dark path where I go into medical terms, I show graphic details. I mean, you've seen it yourself, Chrissy, you know, you've been present at one of my workshops, and it's something that, although I don't want to do, it's what needs to be done, because people need to know the full impact of what happens when you can throw a single punch, because people can actually treat this as a bit of a joke, because a knife or a gun isn't in the hand. It is the hand that holds the knife and the hand that holds the gun and the hand that connects with someone else in a punch that actually takes the life. So that's where I've gone. It takes me into schools, colleges, universities, youth offender institutes, prisons, and it's something, like I say, that I don't want to do, but it needs to be done, and it's something that, like I say, Connor would want done, because he was an encourager. He was someone who would change people's lives, as we've seen, and this is the path in which I walk now. But then again, you know, my sister and my niece are doing amazing things with the Connor Saunders Foundation.
Now, just before we get onto that, because I did attend the talk in Brighton at school there, I was really blown away by this talk. Much better than what I expected. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, but when I got there, I was just engaged from beginning to the very end. And so I could see the students, the way that they were not distracted in the least. They were really focused on what you were saying, and I thought, wow, that's really having an impact on them. And actually, I'd like to show you this video, which is on your website as well, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely.
About the talks, how it does, and also what some of the students and teachers have to say about it as well. Let's take a look.
Good evening. A teenager has been killed in an attack in East Sussex.
A young life cut short.
That his loss is tragic to everyone who knew him.
A community in mourning. Hundreds of people, family, friends, even strangers turned out to pay their respects to Connor Saunders.
Our lives have been completely shattered.
Credit to the club, he was a credit to his family, everyone, you know. He was so polite and everything. Everyone loved him. He was tremendous.
Superb.
Incredible, incredibly moving.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Very emotional. Very, very emotional.
Emotive. I don't think at one stage I had a lump in my throat. I think my eyes were welling up as well as everybody else that was sitting there.
Outstanding. Outstanding is the only word I can use. It kept everyone within that workshop gripped. It was clear that from the applause at the end that people were very, very impressed.
by the workshop that had been given by Jamie.
The element of youth violence that I deal with is the weapons in which we carry with us every single second of the day, and that's our fists. Because I'm here to tell you about how severe and the consequences of throwing a single punch can indeed be.
Just hit a nerve for me, and and it was so emotional to see what a family could go through.
I don't think there was anybody in the audience who wasn't moved, and I think if one of Connor's legacies, I know that every time that that's delivered, Connor comes back alive.
Because I deal with reason and excuse. Now, reason and excuse are very, very different. Now, when I'm speaking to young offenders, and I'm speaking to pupils, and I'm speaking to prisoners, they will give me what they deem to be a good reason. Now, a reason is, sorry, I can't come into school today, I can't come into work today, I've got a sickness bug. If I come in, I'm going to infect other people, it's not going to be pretty. Yeah, that's a good reason. But people will then hold up an excuse, and what an excuse is a coward's way out of trying to get out of verbally what they've acted themselves into.
What I found refreshing was the whole issue about, instead of accepting excuses or looking for reasons behind the act, look at what's happening and let's face the truth and the reality of the act and get that person to realise what they've done.
I think this is something that young people need to see themselves. It's all right for us as people helping and supporting young people to listen to it. We know what that sort of effects, I suppose, it can have. But for the young people themselves, they don't realise, I don't think, what their consequences of their actions could be.
I say to them, how about if someone come up and really pushed you, like with force? Oh, well, I'd come back at them. Why? You now know that a punch can kill. Would you still do it? Well, he's intimidating me, isn't he? I said, even once that push occurs and you go back, you've still got a choice. You yourself have got a choice. If you stop, you've got a 50-50 of whether this situation continues or ends. But a 50-50 chance is better than a 100% chance of it carrying on. Because if you come back with violence, it's only going to be met with violence, back and forth. And the outcome, as we say, as we've seen, can be death.
I think it's extremely important. I would encourage others to, in every school, in every college, throughout Wales, throughout England, throughout Scotland, throughout Ireland, get it in, throughout America or anything else, this issue that kids have about self-image and about being hard and the impact it can have not on obviously other people's lives as it was with Connor, but also on their own lives.
And I think this should be out for any age group, any organisations, because I think it can affect anyone.
Because I would sincerely hope that those organisations that do get to see that workshop, that do get to see the passion and the belief in what Jamie is saying, that they will then use Jamie to actually do workshops with the young people where it really should be targeted. They would see this workshop and understand how much their organisations, how much their young people could benefit from having Jamie to actually work with them directly.
I guarantee young people who are very high end, if they came in on a session with Jamie, by the time they leave that door, they'd be different
I
young
completely
people.
agree with Charlotte. That's exactly what I'd say. I think it's, you can have a PowerPoint presentation, you can have somebody saying, oh, this is what's happened, but it's just the way Jamie delivers it and he engages you in it, and I think it's somebody like that you need that will get that message across to the young people, because he's down to earth, he's kind of at the level, to the point, he doesn't sugarcoat it, and I just think I'm going to try and book him as soon as I can.
So we can see how much of an impact these talks are having. It's absolutely incredible. So tell us more about the foundation now, Daz.
Okay, so after Connor lost his life, we wanted to remember the life that Connor led. Mm-hmm. So for us, it had to be positive. Good had to come from bad. So Connor was the most positive person I've ever met in my life. He never saw a negative. He didn't believe in it. Mm-hmm. And impossible was nothing to him. He believed that leaders were born, they weren't made. With hard work, you could achieve whatever you wanted to be. About 6 weeks before Conor lost his life, we were at home watching a football game. And a very famous footballer called Fabrice Muamba,
wasn't it? Yeah, Tottenham versus Bolton.
That's it. Had sudden cardiac arrest, and the only thing that saved his life was a defibrillator. And Conor couldn't believe that this footballer, so fit and healthy, could have had a heart attack, and he really worried about it. So at his local club, they started trying to save or raise some funds to buy a defib, and Conor really wanted help. So when Conor lost his life and we had his celebration of life, nature didn't take Conor's life, so we couldn't give money to a cause. No. We decided to buy his football club a defibrillator. And we are 33 defibrillators in now, and we give them to local football clubs at grassroots level and schools, primary and secondary schools. For us, as a family, we know what it's like to lose a child. And if we can prevent another child being lost through sudden cardiac arrest, then that's what we wanted to do. We also, because Conor loved football so, we send coaches into special needs schools, and they teach children how to play football. It builds confidence and self-esteem. And we also raise awareness for organ donation. For us as a family,
some of the things that you're doing,
we try. We believe that distraction is the key to survival. So you can't have much time to think about what's happened, what you've been through. You just keep remembering the life that Conor led. If you
and that's what he would have wanted.
And that's what he would have wanted, exactly. He would have wanted that for us. We tried to live our best life possible. He's taught us what compassion truly is. We have empathy that I never thought we could ever have, and that's because of Conor.
And a big one is that time is short. Time can be taken. You know, like I say, Conor was taken on April the 14th. He wasn't guaranteed April the 15th. That truly to kind of number your days and just be grateful for the moment, because life can change in a single second. But it's all about leaving a legacy, because I mean, we're not here for long. Even if we're given 60 years, 70 years, whatever, you know, that time flies by. Time flies by very, very quickly. We're not here for long. It's all about leaving something that actually will last long after we're gone.
And I think on that note, Jamie, we're going to end the show, because I think that's a perfect thing to finish with.
There we go. Right.
Thank you so much for coming on to speak about this. I know it's going to have a big impact, and all the best with everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
With all the work that you're doing. It's amazing, fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so we have reached the end of today's programme, but if there's anything here that's affected you and you need to contact us, please do visit the website, chrissybshow.tv, and the details of Jamie's organisation as well, and Daz's will be on there for you if you need more information. And until next time, bye-bye for now.
We're just very, very privileged to get this opportunity to come on the Chrissy B Show to kind of give our account of what indeed has happened to our beloved family member Conor. This needs to go bigger. You know, this kind of show is amazing, and it needs to go prime time, because the positivity and the education which it gives is kind of second to none, and it's needed more.
Yeah, I'm very humbled to be here actually. And I can feel Conor with us, and I'm very grateful to be able to express our feelings on what happens when a loved one is taken by homicide. It isn't pretty, it never leaves you, and I'm grateful that Chrissy and her team have taken the time to listen to us, so thank you.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. So I was waiting for you. You was waiting for me. Sorry. Go on. What? Shall I go first? Yeah. Sorry. And Dec have got nothing to worry about.